What up, what up, what up? Thank you for joining us again on another smoke session.
What's up, what's up?
I'm your boy, Brother Jam.
I'm your boy Black Hand, also known as the blind cameraman. What's up?
Brother Los on the cam.
And thank you for joining us on the smoke session. We are the Daily Smoke. Hey, and if you want to know what's going on with the Daily Smoke, please check out our website, www.thedailysmoke.com. And that's the THA dailysmoke.com, and the Cash App as well. If you want to donate, $TD Smoke. Please give us a shout out if you're able to. And if you're not able to, then you know what the next best thing is? Like, share, and subscribe. Hit those 3 buttons for us. Let your peoples know about us. And hopefully they'll decide, they want to come and join and have some of the fun with us. You know what I'm saying?
And those who have donated, thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Matter of fact, we got some donations recently, and we want to say thank you. Do we want to say the names of the people that donated?
You know what, I would not right now, because since this is really going to be shown way after.
I think that...
But they'll know, if they do watch this show, they know that, because we're going to mention them again on the other shows too, so...
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Elon.
Fuck Elon. He
have our own fucking
shit.
shit. We want to do this shit, motherfuckers. We doing this shit.
We doing this shit on Mars right now.
We gonna be the entertainment they take from home.
You know? Hey, that'd be great.
These dudes is fucking crazy, man. We gotta take these guys with us.
Right. Oh, what's up, dude?
But yeah, man. Okay, so for those, now I think we've said before, and I'm pretty sure everybody understands. We're older guys, we're not young.
Right.
I'm young. I don't know
I'm 47. Bobby's finna turn.
I'm 19.
Bobby's finna turn 50.
I'm 19.
Los is finna be 57. So we're older cats.
Ron is 40 something.
Yeah, Ron, me and Ron the same age, so we both 47.
Oh, that nigga.
Oh, cat did it. But we was talking about an old school movie for those who might be of our generation called Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Weird Science. She's alive.
Man, this movie, okay. This movie, it was Dr. Frankenstein and a teenage boy's sex fantasy all rolled into one.
Right.
Hold on.
We time.
All of a sudden couldn't talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Over there.
Oh, man.
You good?
I hope so. Shit. But bottom line is the movie was like Dr. Frankenstein. So basically, you got these 2 teenage boys who try to create a woman using their computer. And lo and behold, to their surprise, the shit actually winds up working.
Right. They had Barbie all
Wired up. They programmed her body proportions.
They had underwear on their hair for the whole ritual.
Bras. It was bras. It was bras on their head. But
bras.
then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, and I forgot what it was, but like the whole program when they decided to run it got supercharged.
Oh no, the lightning storm that hit.
Oh, that's what it was.
Right.
It was the lightning storm. Yeah.
True.
Dr. Frankenstein.
So it actually wound up producing Kelly LeBlanc as.
Them lips.
For those who did not grow up in the 80s, man, Kelly LeBlanc was a whole phenomenon. Like that woman was so fine. It was. She was. I mean, and of course, as an atypical black man in some ways, I typically like my women with more curves as far as being, booty and hips and all of that kind of stuff. But Kelly LeBlanc was so fine back then that it didn't even. Yeah, it was sexy. She just had a solid sex appeal.
Right.
Like, and it was like it was real. Like, because that woman could walk on the screen and it didn't matter what she said or did. What was that movie she did? What was it? Lady with the Red Dress or something like that?
Yeah, I think
like
that.
It was yeah.
She was a sexy girl from back in those days. That's the look we liked, and that's what she was saying. So they built a nice Frankenstein. Like we were saying, I'd build a different looking one, but
hey, I was totally look. But see, the thing about it is I couldn't have been in that movie Cause I wouldn't have been tripping on none of that shit. I'd be like, "Oh, this is what we doing?
All
Shit,
right,
let's go." Cause she was
wouldn't have been scared when she showed up. Like,
right.
oh,
Cause she was magical. Like she could just make shit happen.
right.
Man, that scene when those dudes took a shower with her, but they was all fully clothed.
Yes.
I was like,
hell
ain't no way in hell.
Butt naked.
Even at that age, my horny little ass. Like, let's go.
You know,
Shit.
teach me.
Right? I'm ready to learn. That look, that'd have been the first 24 hours alone.
Right.
No, we ain't leaving the house. I'm finna master this right now.
Right.
Oh, I think it was another movie they kind of spoofed on that. I think it was with Kevin Hart, and it's called movie 51 or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That was like one of those that was like Amazon Women on the Moon back in the day. It was like one of those kind of just little short vignettes of comedy, just all kind of thrown together.
Sliced together. But instead of that, they did with Kevin Hart, they did the same thing. But instead of getting a fine, nice little pizza, they got a huge black woman. I think it was about 500-pound woman.
They made it different.
And who was horny as hell. She was like, "Y'all want this? Come get it. Come on.
Girls gotta get some too.
Come on."
Oh Lord.
You know.
Bodacious booty.
I want to say I've seen that, but I think I may have blocked it out.
No offense to big girls. Big girls get some too, goddamn. You know, it's just
No, but sometimes things is presented, in movies and stuff like that, purposely to appear nasty.
Yeah.
And like that shit works. So I mean, you could be attracted to whatever. That's cool.
Right.
But if it's presented in a way, hell,
They just took to an extreme.
you cover even the finest woman in shit. I'm gonna look at her like,
right.
like
right.
nah, dude. So
I got one quick shout out to one that I like from back then, since we're going back.
okay.
Was, I think Elizabeth Hurley as the devil.
Ooh.
What was that
Yes.
movie? She was the devil in that, man.
Oh,
I was
yes.
like, okay, devil, you know what? Let me just hang out with you.
What was the name of that movie?
I'm trying
Because it was Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
He made this deal with the devil. She was the devil.
Oh.
And she kept fucking with him.
I can't think of the name right now.
You asked for this, is what I gave you, but you didn't ask specifics. But she was sexy as fuck on that. Elizabeth Hurley, I think was her name.
Yes.
What the hell was the name of that movie?
Oh, I know the movie you're talking about too.
We remember.
Oh, now you're gonna make me look it up because that's gonna bother me.
Because he wanted that girl so bad. In every scene, she fucked him over somehow.
What's the devil? So
But yeah, no, she was fine though. She was fine devil. I'd have stayed in the first one. When he
Bedazzled.
Bedazzled.
Bedazzled. That was the name of it. Yes.
Heard we're gonna shout you out too. Since what was the other girl's name?
Kelly LeBlanc.
Kelly LeBlanc. Yeah.
Shit.
We might even give. She's a maniac.
Jennifer. No, not Jennifer. No, it is Jennifer. It's Jennifer Beal.
Jennifer Beal.
And shit. Okay, if we going there, then Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates.
Oh, fucking Phoebe Cates in the red swimsuit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's a whole nother show right there.
Phoebe Cates, man.
Cody and Mr. Handy. Hell yeah, I remember that. So that's a whole nother show. You know what? That's a sexy women of the 80s in movies.
hey,
So that's a whole other show.
That would be fun, but that would be problematic. We get canceled for that shit. But we might do something about 80s movies now. 80s movies, that could definitely be
You show the
fun.
picture.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, we could show before she opened the swimsuit. I don't think YouTube will let us get away with the full scene, with the full Monty.
We could paste them up.
Oh yeah.
Put some pasties
Can
up.
we? Okay. We might have to make that into a show. That could be fun. Alright. We'll see what we can do.
So, again, with your donations.
Yeah.
With
We
your
need
donations, we could bring you
we can make
pasties.
this happen for you.
We could bring you pasties, my nigga.
Pasties.
All right, man. Let's get into this WandaVision. All right, for just to kind of catch y'all up on what we're doing. So, of course, we started doing these as after the
whole Marvel.
a lot of the Marvel shows had already come out. We recently did a show. If y'all had a chance to check it out on Moon Knight, We did a summation of the series and just kind of
Please
talk
watch
about
it.
the show in general.
Great show. Please
Good
watch
show,
it.
really good show. Watch Moon Knight and watch our episode about Moon Knight.
Right.
If you do watch our episode about Moon Knight, there are spoilers, so just letting you know ahead of time. But yeah, check that out. But what we decided to do was we wanted to go back and touch on some of the Marvel TV shows that we didn't get a chance to talk about because we weren't doing the smoke sessions back then. So today we're going to talk about Wanda-vision. We decided to go back to the beginning, and Wanda-vision was the first one in the MCU Disney Plus, mini-series adventures.
And if you didn't know, WandaVision, it came out in January 15th, 2021. Did 9 episodes and ended in March 5th, 2021. Good show. You need to watch it.
Very good show. Like in my opinion, for this to be the introduction to Marvel in episodic, programming, because we're used to the Marvel stories being told in a movie format.
Yeah.
That had become, commonplace at this point. There's been so many Marvel movies out, but for these to be presented in an episodic fashion, and then on top of that, you have to realize that most shows now, they release the whole season at once, like Netflix usually does.
Right. Yeah.
But no. Disney and Disney said, we're going to make y'all asses wait
Right.
each week for these episodes to be released.
Like Paramount.
Right. And it reminded me, and this may be just me, but it reminded me of old school watching TV. Because every week you was looking forward to that new episode. You was like, oh shit, it's Wednesday. Knight Rider coming on. I got to see what they doing this week.
Now the only thing now though, I can say, okay, you know what? It's 5 episodes for the next month. I'm not gonna watch. I can wait till it's done and then I'm gonna
Binge watch.
Some people do that,
watch them all.
but then you have to try and avoid spoilers and all of that shit for the whole however many months it might be running. So you have that to try to have to deal with. So I like the fact that they present the episodes on a weekly basis, because it makes it, like I said, it gives you that old school feel. Like you come home on a Wednesday, I got some shit to watch, because the new episode of WandaVision or the new episode of
I gotta do Star Trek. I missed the last this week's Star Trek.
Oh,
I gotta do that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I got both of them down.
I still gotta get access to those.
I like the Strange New World. It's real nice.
I'm
so good.
I want to get caught up on my Star Trek because I miss it, man.
Oh,
I need some good hardcore sci-fi in my life right now. If anybody has any suggestions on something that like you could watch that I could watch that's on Netflix, Hulu, I have Disney Plus, and I have HBO Max. So if y'all know anything along those lines that I might be missing, please put it in the comments on down below the video and let me know. I'd love to watch them if you got some suggestions, and then maybe we could do a show about them and talk about it.
Yeah, but for tonight we're gonna be talking about WandaVision, aka Scarlet Bitch. I'm sorry, Scarlet Witch.
Hey man, hey, she's not a bitch.
Hey,
she just got issues. You know what I'm saying? Number 2, I mean, okay, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to give it to her. I did not think of Elizabeth Olsen as all that when she was first. When I want to say I saw her in something before Marvel movies, but I'm not sure what it was. But when she was first introduced, I was not all that impressed with her just in general. But her portrayal of the Scarlet Witch, especially in this series, man, I'm thoroughly impressed with her acting. She's not like a De Niro type actor or anything like that, but she definitely has some good range as far as being able to portray some emotions, and she's got a good expressive face. I dig that. I really dig that about her. And then if you drop down to 2A, Los, this was some of the comic book versions of the Scarlet Witch, the character in the comic books and how she looked. Now, the thing about Scarlet Witch is it's a little difficult to really explain her powers, because over the years, even in the comic books, it's actually changed. Like
Yeah.
they've retconned not only her powers but her origin a few times in the comic books. So it's actually kind of difficult to nail it down. As of right now in the comic books, she is not a mutant. Okay, for years she was portrayed as the child of Magneto. Her and her brother Quicksilver were supposed to be Magneto's children.
Petro.
But now in the comic books, as of right now, she is not a mutant. She was raised by no. She was
Wanda Maximoff. I'm mispronouncing that last name. Excuse me. But she was native to the country of Scarvelia, something like that. Scovia. I'm sorry, Scovia. Who I'm saying, her and her brother grew up. They were fraternal twins, and she was born with the latent mystical ability to harness chaos magic. So this is what Wanda-vision is, what the Marvel MCU is doing with it. So
yeah, it was. But like I said, even that in the comic books has changed because originally she was a mutant with probability altering capabilities. Remember that back in the day?
yeah,
like
I didn't quite understand.
She could literally alter the chances of things happening. Like that was her power back in the day. But then they changed it to being able to harness chaos energy. And they actually in the comic book, well, in the show itself, she of course in the MCU version of the show of the movies rather lost her husband Vision, and that's number 3.
Yeah.
So
Vision played by Paul Bettany.
Oh yeah, Mr. Bettany. I like his voice because he was the voice of Jarvis originally.
Yes.
Back in
That's
in the Iron.
When they were watching Iron Man the other day, man, I'm like, that's Jarvis, that's Vision.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you mean? I said, that voice is Vision.
Same person.
Because if you remember in the movie when they were creating Vision, they used Jarvis's program to override to help override Ultron's programming, and so Jarvis became integrated into Vision, and it manifested in it using Jarvis's voice. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then just as a bit of a comparison, I did include the comic book version of Vision, just so people could kind of get a feel of the origins of the character.
Yeah, but
And then the big bad villain in this movie actually turned. I said movie. The big bad villain in this show turns out to be another witch by the name of Agatha Harkness. And that was played by
Catherine. I'm sorry, I'm slaughtering last names. Not Hall. Catherine. I'm sorry, I got glasses on. Hahn, sorry.
Catherine Hahn.
Oh.
I've seen her.
What's the name of the character?
Agatha Harkness.
Oh, she's the bad girl.
Yeah, she's the bad girl. And basically, in the show, her role is she is a powerful witch in her own right. And you actually learn she's from like back in she's been alive since like the 1600s. And so she's basically uses her magic to keep herself alive and all this kind of stuff. And she can actually absorb other witches' abilities. She can absorb their power and use it and make herself more powerful. And so when she saw what the Scarlet Witch had done in creating this bubble around a town, well, a hex is what they call it, and it's actually a hexagon-shaped perimeter around this town where she has controlled and altered reality to suit what she wants because she was grieving over the loss of her husband. Since Vision had gotten killed in the Avengers Endgame movies or Infinity War movies.
Yeah.
So what is it? Agatha wants some of that.
Agatha is trying to figure out how she was able to do this, and so she enters the hex, but she's unlike everybody else in there. She's not under the Scarlet Witch's control.
Mm-hmm.
She's really observing and manipulating the situation,
From the
trying to understand Wanda's power and how she's able to do what the fuck she did. Because she's like, yeah, you just like nobody. There's not a witch that's supposed to be able to do this, and I'm trying to understand it because I want this level of power.
Shit.
But then I also did include if you, well, I'm sure you've already shown number 4. Okay, and 4A is her. The picture before was her as full witch mode, basically. But the picture 4A is her in her disguise as one of the characters in the sitcom. Because that's what happens. Wanda grew up watching old sitcoms. And so when she altered reality, she based it on the context of her favorite sitcom shows. So it was all these different episodes were different era of like family sitcom type shows.
Big Van Dyke show, Bewitched.
Yeah, Bewitched.
And then they kind of brought it up to modern.
They did the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
Then they did Malcolm in the Middle.
I love that episode.
No, they didn't do I Dream of Jeannie.
No, they didn't do that one.
Dang, that would have been a good one though.
Right? She could have made things happen.
Yep.
Speaking of old school hotness, man.
Yeah.
What was her name from I Dream of
Barbara
Jeannie?
somebody.
From
Barbara.
I think her name was Barbara something. Barbara Eden? No.
Yeah, Barbara Eden.
Is that what her name?
Is that her
That's
name?
Something like that, but yeah, that
No, that's her name.
Jeannie was, Jeannie was a man right
Jeannie
there.
was-
She was
beautiful.
even in old
But,
age, she was beautiful.
And then 4B is the comic book version. Now, if you notice in the comic book version of Agatha Harkness, she was actually much older.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. They made good that they made her, because there's an old lady in the show. I would have watched, well, I didn't watch that shit anyway.
But the thing about Agatha in the comic book is she was actually the Scarlet Witch's teacher. So she actually, like the Scarlet Witch actually, like they met and, you know, became friends, and she actually taught her how to use magic in the comic books. So their relationship was a little bit different. Even though she did turn out to be evil, she still did turn out to be evil. They actually had, she was actually part of the reason why Wanda became so much more powerful, because she actually learned how to cast spells and do her magic and all of that kind of stuff. So it was actually pretty cool. Now, we was having this conversation beforehand, and we get to number 5. The character is Monica Rambeau. That's played by
Monica Rambeau. That'd be played by
isn't it Tenosha?
Yeah. Paris. Yeah.
Tenosha Paris. That's what it is.
Tenosha Paris.
Yeah, Tenosha Paris.
Girl.
She played. Yeah. And oh man, they pick such beautiful black women to play these roles, man. I have to.
Well, in that picture, who's that behind her? That's her character?
Yeah, okay, so in the comic, okay, so she starts off, her character's name is Monica Rambeau. She's just a agent working for the FBI. Problem was that she was one of the people who got blipped when Thanos snapped his fingers.
Oh,
so
she disappeared.
So she was gone for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they unblipped, she was just freshly brought back. But she finds out that 3 years ago, while she was gone, her mother died of cancer.
Okay.
So she missed her whole. But now the cool thing to show you how Marvel does, right? Okay, you probably didn't see it, but I know you heard of Captain Marvel, the movie Captain Marvel.
Yeah, no, I watched it.
Oh, you watched it? Okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember the black best friend in Captain Marvel? That was the mother.
Oh, that was. Oh, so that's the little girl.
The little girl is her.
Okay. I see.
So yeah, so
She
Marvel.
becomes a superhero herself.
So she and in this show she winds up actually becoming a superhero, because what winds up happening is she gets sucked into Wanda's magical hex field multiple times.
Well, she got thrown out in the beginning of the hex field.
She got sucked in the first time, then she got thrown out,
and then she forced her way.
She forced her way back in. No wait.
Yeah, she forced her way through.
That was the last time. That was the time that transformed her, but she went through 3 times. I thought. Was it the time in the rover thing? Does that count?
No. She was brought in. That's the first. And then she was expelled.
They arrived when the hex was already up. Remember, she touched the outside of it, and she got pulled in. That was the first time, and then that's why Agatha was like, "Oh, she doesn't have a home.
Oh,
she's not married." Right. So that's because she just appeared.
My bad. Yeah.
That was the first time. The second time, that's what I'm trying to remember. I know there was the attempt when she tried to drive in, but that didn't work. So I don't think that counted. But I'm drawing a blank on the second time. Because the third time was when she walked through and she forced her way in. And then that's the one that wound up transforming her.
Yeah.
Because it was her third. Every time you enter Wanda's hex, because it's an altered reality, it was altering her cells.
Yeah, physically.
It was physically altering her cells. I honestly think, though, it may have something to do with her connection with Captain Marvel. Because if you remember, Captain Marvel was touched. I forgot what they called it, but she was touched by some kind of special energy source. Yeah. And so I'm wondering if that might have just made her susceptible to this, being in close contact with it. But, I mean, Marvel could make those connections any kind of way they want to. But she eventually becomes a superhero. Now, the superhero that she becomes actually goes through a few different name changes. So at some point, she's known as Proton. Mm-hmm. Other points, she's known as Spectrum.
That's the one I know.
And then at one point, she actually becomes Captain Marvel.
Who is she there in that silver and that color?
Right there, she's Spectrum, I believe, if I remember right.
That's the one I know.
So basically, what her powers are is she can absorb and redirect energy. Doesn't matter what form the energy it takes. It could be electromagnetic, it could be radiation, it could be, solar energy. Any kind of energy that you can output, she can absorb and then use it as she sees fit.
Almost like the mutant Bishop from the X-Men.
Exactly. Very, very similar, but Bishop, of course, got his powers from being a mutant. In the MCU, her powers are in literally direct result of Wanda's ability. So that begs the question, because in the show, she created a whole new Vision with all his powers. So can Wanda grant powers?
Wanda can grant whatever she wants to.
Right? Well, I think really, and if you think about it too, another good reason that we needed to talk about this is because Multiverse Madness is out.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode as well. So this gives you some background on the Scarlet Witch and the kind of
in general,
the things that they were doing with this character before that movie came out, in case you haven't seen it yet. Although if you're watching these episodes, you probably already seen it.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, so for the show, for the show,
the miniseries,
for the in the episodes, what winds up happening is Wanda becomes pregnant. Okay. Now, of course, we all know that Vision is an android. Right. He's got no sperm.
He cheated on that nigga.
Her reality altering abilities allowed her to basically become pregnant. So she used her own magic to impregnate herself.
Child support.
But this was an accelerated pregnancy, and it wound up producing two twin boys, just like her and her brother, of course. But they were
Wiccan, played by Julian Hill, and Thomas, played by Jet Clyde,
who would eventually become Speed. And they had powers that mimicked her and her brothers. Speed obviously was a speedster like his uncle Pietro, Quicksilver. And then Wiccan, he actually had, more like telekinetic abilities, but he used them like they were like magical abilities, So it was one of those kind of situations, and they eventually wind up growing up to become heroes, but in an alternate reality that Wanda created in the comic books, and it's a whole nother thing. But now, at the end of this series, I'm not gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna wait. But okay, So in the show, you go through these different episodes where each episode is a different genre of sitcom, family sitcom specifically. So like we said, they go through all the different ones. And as they get to more and more modern versions and her pregnancy comes to term, you start to see the world is kind of falling apart. She's losing control of her powers. She's not able to control everything, like it rains inside their house and all this kind of stuff. Now,
and also people are beginning to come out of her hex or spell.
Well, Vision, on that respect, he was starting to realize that some stuff was wrong, and then he would go around and he could phase their minds out of sync with whatever she was doing.
Yeah.
And allow their real personalities to come out. So he actually got to talk to some of the inhabitants of the town, and they were basically like, we're being tortured because we have no free will. We're being held in these roles by her, and it's horrible. And so Vision realizes, like, okay, this is fucked up. We need to do something about it.
Basically, all her grief, pain from losing Vision was manifesting in them. So they felt all her pain, grief.
They were having her nightmares when they went to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So all the while this is going on the outside of the hex, the FBI and Sword are outside, basically trying to figure out what the hell's going on inside. And Darcy Lewis, number 7, she actually is the scientist working with Sword that figures out that it's being broadcast on old TV bandwidth, the content of what's going on inside the hex.
Yeah, Kate Dennings.
That's her name?
Kat Dennings.
Oh, Kat Dennings, I'm sorry.
Kat Dennings. Yeah, but yeah.
Another fine white woman. Go ahead.
Good Lord, that woman. Now she is just truly sexy. I gotta give a shout out. I gotta give respect where respect is due. If you're beautiful, you're just beautiful, and some women just do it for me. Kat Dennings just has the right combination of features that be like, okay, yeah.
She can get it.
She's just gorgeous.
Get it.
But so she's the brains that figures out. And if you remember, her character Darcy Lewis was in the Thor movies because she was the best friend of Jane Foster.
Right. Yeah.
So she was like, matter of fact, even in the What If, when they did that What If about Thor, she was the friend who was partying with Jane Foster when they like went to Vegas and all that shit. That was which was fun. So, but she figures it out, and they are able to watch what's going on inside the hex bubble.
And she was digging some of the episodes that Wanda was putting.
I mean, it was like watching a TV show. It was not. It was watching the same thing we was watching at home.
Yeah, watching TV.
So watching the Daily Smut.
But yeah, so she figured it out, and then when everything started to go bad for Wanda on the inside, because eventually what wound up is Agatha wound up revealing that she was there to try to steal and manipulate her powers. Photon, Monica Rambo, was being held at bay by the fake Quicksilver, which he was brought in by Agatha, created by Agatha to mess with Wanda's mental stability.
Before you go on, I did like how they switched the character of Quicksilver with the Sony's version of Quicksilver.
Yeah.
It was played by Evan Peters. That threw me for a loop when I saw that.
Now, you know what's funny is Evan Peters and the guy who originally played Quicksilver in the MCU, both were in the movie Kick-Ass.
Yes.
They were both in the movie Kick-Ass.
I forgot about that.
They're pros to the hero genre. But and so at one point Agatha casts a spell on all the townspeople that releases them from Wanda's mental control, and they confront her. They're like, why the fuck have you been torturing us? What did we do to you? Like, this is cruel. Wow. Either kill us or let us go, basically, is what they say, because like, this is torture, what you're doing to us. And she didn't realize, I guess, that these people were suffering so horribly under her control. And of course, she loses it for a second, and she actually winds up like choking all of them with her magic at one point.
Leave me alone.
But then she realizes, okay, that makes it even worse. And so she finally starts to rip apart the hex to let them out. Well, of course, people take off like shots. You know, they like, okay, we trying to get to the border. But while the hex was open, the military guys from Sword were able to sneak some of their not sneak, but they just drove in through the crack basically and came on in. And so because they were able to enter through an opening, they were finally able to come in unaltered. So basically they had all their weapons and equipment and all that stuff.
And not only that, since she was pretty much breaking down the hex, it was also destroying her version of Vision and her kids at the same time. She was like, nope, let's put this back together.
And then, but before they were able to close it, one other thing did enter, because unbeknownst to anyone, Sword had been able to reanimate Vision's body.
White Vision.
But that body came back with absolutely no coloration to it, and that's where we have number 8, and that was the White Vision. So that's
a weaponized Vision.
That's the reanimation of his body, but just with regular, almost, I mean, probably like an AI kind of intelligence, I'm sure. Yeah. But it was nowhere near what Vision himself would have been.
Yeah, because Vision had the Mind Stone.
No. That was gone. That was gone.
So it's just a weaponized Vision, basically. It just weaponized the body.
So that Vision and the real Vision, and I'm sorry, 8A is the comic version of White Vision. So this is like a character that's actually true to the comics, you know. But if you drop down to 15,
right there.
15 is the White Vision and the regular Vision, actually when they fought. And now this was a dope ass fight. I cannot lie, man.
Vision versus Vision.
Because one of Vision's powers is he can go intangible. So when you can make yourself able to not be able to be grabbed, how do you fight somebody like that?
Right.
And then on top of that, how do you fight when you have two people who can make themselves intangible? So these dudes was fighting, and like one dude would grab the other one when he tried to punch, and then he just phase his arm through the grip, and you know just keep going. And like, but they kept doing it to each other. Oh, you try to punch me, I phase. I try to punch you, you phase. And it was,
how do you fight yourself, in a way? So,
it was a damn good fight. It really was. But what wound up happening is while they were in close contact, the I was going to say the Wanda-vision.
Basically.
But the vision that Wanda created was talking to the White Vision. And he was basically just explaining, like he was giving him some like, it was a logic puzzle. What was it called? It's about a ship. I can't remember what it's called, but basically it was posing the question of so say you have a wooden ship and you're, you know, over time, of course, boards and things like that on the wooden ship need to be replaced. Over time, you eventually wind up replacing every single board. Is it still the same ship?
Right.
And that's what Vision was posing to White Vision as a question, like, you're not any different from me. You're still me.
Right.
I'm the me that was created by Wanda's magic, but you still have everything that I was inside you. And so the White Vision basically is like, what? Like, how? Like, no, what do you mean? He was like, no, the way my brain was, you know, the kind of brain that he had, since he was the most sophisticated computer to like basically ever exist. He was like, no, there's no way all my memories are gone. And basically he winds up touching where the Mind Stone would be, and he reactivates all of his old memories inside that body. And you see in the show the blue chip that they have where the Mind Stone would be. That blue chip gets turned yellow, almost like the color of the Mind Stone. Okay. And so you see that kind of yellow energy go through his body, and then his eyes start to come back with color, and that's when he just like takes off. He's just like, I gotta go process this shit.
I'm out.
Because he get a full lifetime of Vision's memories all back at once. And so that basically overrides the programming of what the military, of what Sword was trying to do to him.
Basically, he created his own, he created a new body in a way.
It'll be interesting to see. I think the Marvel is going to wind up turning that into a way to bring Vision back.
Yeah.
He's
That's
such
a good way to do it.
he's such a popular character
Yeah.
in the MCU in general, and plus with I'm suspecting that in Multiverse of Madness they're going to make her more of a villain, and so
Yeah.
if you bring Vision back, that's going to be a way to rein her character back in. She might not be able to relocate or find her children. I don't know why I wanted to say relocate. She might want to find her children, but if she can have her husband back, she might be able to be reasoned with at that
all
point.
that up.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's been reading from the Book of Chaos, with the Dark Book of Chaos or something like that. So
Right.
so she's already tapping in.
The Darkhold. is
Yeah,
what it's called.
she's already going beyond.
Okay, and if we go back up to number 9, what I wanted to just kind of show was just some of the different genres that they went through on the show.
That's
So
a Dick
this
Van
was
Dyke
like the
show.
Dick Van Dyke version of the show.
Yeah.
And then number 10 was when they had moved into like the Brady Bunch era. You know, that was like, you know, it was in color back then, but it's still 1970s kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
You know.
Marsha,
And then,
Marsha.
11 is actually a scene in the show when things started to fall apart, and she had actually already cracked open the hex bubble, and so the military. So I keep saying the military, but it was Sword.
Yeah.
Sword was in the bubble, and Vision had already fought White Vision, and so what you're seeing in that shot is when the military Sword rolled up on them. And the whole family was basically like ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sons, of course, at that point had already revealed that they had powers. Like I said, one was a speedster, one could use like telekinesis.
Yeah.
And then 12, that picture was when she was still in the black and white phase of the show, but the Sword had sent in a drone, and that drone, when it entered the bubble, of course, it altered into something appropriate for the time,
So like on the toy helicopter.
and so it turned it into a toy helicopter, but it was still in color because it came from the outside.
Right.
Yeah, there was even a scene where they were trying to access the bubble by going underneath the ground through the
Through the
system.
sewer system, yeah.
And they had a guy like in a hazmat suit, but when he came through through the other side, because of that time period, he came out looking like a dude in a bee suit.
A beekeeper suit,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It just transformed him as he crossed the barrier of the hex, even underground. So that means her control is like
All the way
around.
As soon as you enter.
Yeah, as soon as you enter, you get all the way. And yeah, that's even a scene when she actually expanded the hex. Because Vision was like he was figuring out things were wrong, going out of control and wrong. So he tried to exit the hex, but as he was trying to exit, he was literally getting pretty much destroyed.
Well, he didn't realize at that point that he was dead.
Yeah,
He didn't know. And so he thought he was just in the hex under Wanda's control like everybody else,
yeah,
to a certain degree. So he tried to leave to see what was on the outside, but of course,
one of the kids like, oh, Dad's in trouble. Oh,
well, that was Wicked.
yeah,
But you see him try to leave, and so it basically starts to like digitize him in a certain sense. It like he starts to break apart into pieces,
yeah.
and
Wanda
and,
was-
Going out.
and right, because he's a creation of it, so
Right.
but he doesn't know that. But Wanda, sensing the problem, basically shows even more power by expanding the hex. So she made the bitch bigger, and so it wound up engulfing
some of the
it engulfed.
some of the sword agents or troops
Well,
and all that.
I'm trying to say his name. Vision. It engulfed Vision, but it also engulfs part of Sword's like actual military. Their people, and it turned them into a circus, like a traveling circus.
Clowns and all. So,
That's funny.
And so basically, Vision winds up meeting Kat Denny's character, Darcy Lewis, and he snaps her out of it, and them two, she explains everything to him, basically getting him caught up on the fact that he's actually dead and all of this. And so that's when the two of them start to go and head towards Wanda to try to figure out what's going on. But even subconsciously, Wanda's programming basically is keeping them away from her. It's like literally throwing up roadblocks as they try to drive back into town.
Hey, that's how strong she is. So,
But yeah, and then number 13 was a shot. Number 13 was a shot from at one point in the show. It was Halloween, and which I thought was cool. They actually had them dress up as the old school comic book versions of their character, and so that's why you see Wanda and the new Pietro dressed like their old comic book costumes, you know.
the comic accurate costumes. So
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Let me see. Then 14 is actually Monica Rambo when she was like realizing that she had the powers. That was right after she came through and oh wait, is that the one? Are her eyes glowing in that one? I can't tell.
Laying down.
Oh, that is not the picture I thought it was.
She's laying down.
go pitch.
Okay.
But it's still her though.
Oh yeah, it's still her. Yeah. Okay, we could just say that's a fan shot of Monica Rambo because she's gorgeous.
Yes.
She's gorgeous. And then if you drop down to 16, that one is the beginning of the end for Agatha Harkness, essentially, because that was when she decided to reveal herself to Wanda, that she had been, using her magic to manipulate her and all this, because she pulled her into what's called a safe space. So in the witchcraft in the MCU, if you put certain runes up within a enclosed space, you as the person who put those runes up can control who can and can't use their powers within that space.
Yeah, the witch who puts them up, that's the one who controls.
And so she basically lured Wanda into this room where they had the runes already, where she had the runes already set up, and Wanda couldn't use any of her magic. And so she basically had already kidnapped her kids and was like, "You're gonna let me figure out how you do what you do, or I'm not gonna give you back your kids." And so she started trying to read Wanda's mind, actually taking her back through past events in her history.
From her parents dying,
yeah,
everything.
From when she was experimented on by Hydra, all of that stuff. So, and like I said, in the MCU, she is not a mutant. She is the result of some sort of natural ability that was augmented by, Hydra, but Hydra exposed her to the Mind Stone.
Oh, that's right.
So the Mind Stone responded to something in her and basically activated her power. So she was tied to the mind. I wonder. So the Mind Stone, when she was a child, reacted to her and activated her powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the Mind Stone also became a part of Vision.
That's why they hooked up.
So the Mind Stone basically wanted to fuck her.
Right. Pretty much. She was a kid. So she was a kid.
The Mind Stone wanted to fuck. The Mind Stone is a groomer.
So he figured out, you know what? I need to go get a body.
I need to get a body.
Right.
What the fuck?
Hey, Marvel, man.
Hey,
So,
we
wait.
didn't.
What if the Mind Stone just wanted to fuck the witch?
What if the Mind Stone was just a perv, right?
You know,
Horny Stone.
the horny staff.
Get the Horny Stone up in here. What?
That's why it's the Mind Stone.
Right.
what we always think about.
The Horny Stone.
But basically, in 16, that shot was, like I said, that was when Agatha first revealed herself to Wanda, and then that began
When she knew
I honestly have to say, what I thought was a damn good fight scene, and especially the way it wound up playing out. Okay, major spoiler alert
I
coming.
was about to say you got to spoil this.
Oh yeah, you know.
Got
So-
spotted.
So in the final fight, you have the two witches, Agatha, whose energy glows purple, and of course Wanda, whose energy glows red, and you have them fighting inside the giant hex bubble, and the hex bubble itself is red because Wanda created it with her magic, so the
And the
entire
sky.
sky around them looks in these all cloudy shades of red. So that
Thunderstorms.
they're flying, both of them floating in midair, throwing spells and magical energy back at each other, and it was a damn good fight scene, especially because Agnes had started absorbing. I said Agnes. Agatha had started absorbing Wanda's magic, and so like every time she would hit her with an energy ball,
She just takes it in.
pull it in, but.
Wanda was pulling some punches on that one because she was kind of like throwing, she was trying to hit her, but she was missing. But in fact, she was
Setting up her room
Fucking her up.
because the hex bubble was a defined space. She actually wound up casting giant runes on the inside of the hex bubble so she could use that as an enclosed space and turn off Agatha's powers.
That's when Agatha knew she fucked up. So
At that moment, she realized she had fucked up. But what I'm telling you, man, the look on her face when she goes to like do her magic and she realizes, nah, that's not working. She looks up in the sky and she sees them big red glowing runes.
she was like,
It's like,
but
and Wanda was like, thanks for the lesson. And then you see the moment when she finally accepts her full Scarlet Witch power, and she just unleashes it, and she absorbs all of Agatha's purple energy and turns that shit into red. So she just leaves that bitch with no magical power at all. And then you see the costume, the new Scarlet Witch costume, just kind of manifest
beginning to form
around
starting
her.
with the crown, starting with the
with the red crown that she wears. So it was a really climactic end to the series, but it was very satisfying to watch.
It's a fun series to watch from beginning to end.
So just for wrapping it up, what kind of grade, what kind of thumbs up, thumbs down do you give it?
Let me see. Out of 5 thumbs, I give it.
5 thumbs.
Well, I'm not going to out of 10 as far as
We're not doing stars.
So out of,
This is YouTube, so yeah, thumbs make sense. Okay.
5 roll-ups. 5 roll-ups. How many roll-ups do you do?
I give it 4.5.
4.5 roll-ups.
4.5. I would say that's fair. I would second that. So yeah,
Say
4.5.
about the same thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It had a few moments where it got a little goofy, but
you have to get past the first, second episode. After that, it takes off.
I couldn't
see,
get past the first because I couldn't get in.
both of y'all have problems with the beginning, but I didn't. I thought the beginning was fine, but okay. So
But I didn't know where it was
Now that
going
y'all
with.
told me what it's about, different
I didn't know where it was going with it, so.
shit, I can see now maybe trying to get through that or just jump to the second one. And
I said I didn't know where it was going with it. So that first, second, then after that, then it's good.
But yeah, very good show for Marvel to make their first, like I said, their first attempt into TV shows or miniseries, whatever you want to call them. It was really good. They did an awesome job. The anticipation with being released weekly really built up ramped up the excitement about the episodes and the energy about it. So when you finally get to that final fight in the last episode, the final 2 fights, because remember you got the Vision fight and the Witch fight in that same last episode. When I'm telling you, that alone was worth it. So like, and everything on the journey to get to that was a pretty entertaining show. Yeah. So I think if ultimately it
a good watch.
It was a great introduction to the beginning of the Marvel small screen universe.
Yeah, it's a good watch.
So what do you got, fellas, coming up?
Bitch put.
Oh, yeah.
What ideas y'all might have coming up for them to tune into?
Now, if you haven't had a chance to see this, because it actually is going to come out before this episode airs.
Bleak Haven.
So we did an interview with a comic book company called Bleak Haven, and I know what you're going to say when you try to look them up. It's spelled Bleak Heaven. So, and it's all one word. Don't put a space in it. So when you look them up, because they do have content on YouTube as well. So please go to their YouTube page, check them out. It's Bleak Haven,
but it's pronounced.
but it's spelled Bleak Heaven. So be sure and check them out.
Capital B, capital H.
No,
Oh, you don't have to put the capital H?
I don't think
so.
so. I don't think so. I think you could type it in all lowercase and it'd be fine.
No,
But either way,
it'll pull up anyway.
If you watch the episode,
but if you watch
check
the
them
episode,
out.
you know what we talk about. But if not,
go watch it.
go watch it, man. The episode it was a really good interview. These are some young, smart guys
Yes,
who are
yes.
who really put some thought and some effort into their craft. And I have to say, you know, they create an interesting world. They are weaving a big tapestry kind of story. And I'm honestly, if you're a fan of those kind of world encompassing kind of stories, because they're creating an entire universe, I think you'll find it interesting. And the reasons behind some of the choices, they have a character called Bert the Mothman, okay, which I think is brilliant. He's a hero.
Yes.
Right. It's funny.
that
Go check it out.
I mean,
Check
it's
it out.
it's
Check it out.
it's really good. So if y'all get the chance to go back and look at that episode, it's the episode where we talk to Bleak Haven.
Yes.
They're probably gonna be laughing at me if they watch this
Hey,
one.
you know
They'll
what?
be
Shout
laughing
out-
at me saying their
Shout
name
out,
wrong.
fellas. Hey,
Shout out, man.
What's up,
thanks for
Stanley?
watching. You know, we're pushing you as
Stanley and the crew.
What's up?
And a nod to Stand for the Silent, because
Yes.
if it had not been for Stand for the Silent, we would not
never
have met
met.
these gentlemen.
Yes.
They are doing a special edition of one of their comic
I
books
want one of those.
called Credence,
Yeah, I want one of those.
which is going to be for it specifically deals with what Stand for the Silent talks about, which is bullying, childhood, suicide, things like that. So if y'all get the chance, check it out. All the from what they explained to us, all the proceeds from that comic book when it come out will go to Stand for the Silent. So keep an eye out for that, and when we hear more, we'll let y'all know more.
I want a signed copy, guys.
I think we can probably
Autograph.
arrange that. I think
Autograph.
we can arrange that.
Autograph.
But all right, y'all. So again, if you want to know what's going on with the Daily Smoke, check us out on the website www.thedailysmoke.com, and that's THA Daily Smoke. You can also hit us up on Cash App at $TD Smoke. So we appreciate everything that you might be able to, anything rather that you might be able to donate, of course. But if you can't, we understand. Times is tough. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Do those 3 things for us, and that's just as good as giving us a donation, because it pushes us on the algorithm, and we really are trying to get to a broader audience, because the bigger the audience, the more we can do for y'all.
Yeah.
But
Make sure you check out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Monday, Wednesday,
Fridays.
and Friday, and who knows, we might be coming up with some weekend content for y'all. So I'm not gonna give anything away, but just know we love y'all and we working hard for y'all.
Stay tuned.
So check us out. Go to the website. We'll always let you know what's going on. And if you have any questions, you want to be on the show, you got any suggestions,
Let us know.
Let us know. We definitely want your feedback. And again, I'm Brother Jam,
I mean, boy, Black Cameraman.
Brother Los on the cam.
and we are the Daily Smoke. Thank you for joining us for another smoke session. We are out of here. Peace.
Smoke session forever.
Weed time.